Hi, my name's Dan Grant, and as you can tell from the accent, I'm from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I know what you're thinking, he doesn't sound like he's from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. He sounds like that Geico on TV, but I promise I'm not selling any car insurance. I'm actually going to talk to you today about RFID, particularly RFID tracking systems. We've split them into three areas: tracking in an uncontrolled environment, which is tracking of first responders, soldiers on battlefield, SWAT teams; tracking in a controlled environment, which would be Alzheimer's patients, child safety, things like that; and the old traditional tracking of fixed assets, etc. So, let's look at each of those. Each year, unfortunately, over 200 firefighters die in the course of duty. Also, we expect over 797,000 children will be abducted, normally by someone they know. And over 500,000 medical records will be stolen, initially or primarily to be sold, that data on the open market. What all those things have in common? And what they have in common is the correct use of technology can mitigate a lot of that problem. So if we look at the first one, the first responders, you can see that the graph on the right shows over 30,000 fire departments going to over 7 million incidents in a year. So the challenge is, what happens when a man goes down? Here you are working in an environment which is smoky, it's hot, you can't see anything, and you need to know where that man is quickly. The solutions that have been used by fire departments to date fall into a couple of categories: GPS and also inertia navigation. Typically a large expensive device bolted onto their boot. Any firefighter will tell you they want less equipment, not more, bolted onto them. Number of problems with GPS. Anyone that has a sat-nav will know this. Satellite feed sometimes drops out. It's only close to 12 foot. You can't use it inside. It doesn't tell you elevation. So the other area is RFID technology, where you put a little RFID tag on someone. If anyone that works in the RFID area can tell you, that problem is it doesn't go through concrete. It can be bent by water and metal. Doesn't work in environments that are not pure. So, what do? Well, fortunately, we were approached by the University of Pittsburgh world-renowned RFID Centre of Excellence and asked if we can commercialise some technology they had. This technology is a brand new way of using RFID that does away with all the problems I've just mentioned. It works on 433 megahertz, ultra-low band. It reads through concrete, stone. It doesn't have all the attendant problems I've just mentioned. It's accurate down to 6 inches. And what they found out in putting this together is actually the environment, humidity and heat, changes the accuracy of readings. So you need a system that is calibrating itself all the time. And that's what they've come up with. We can also read elevation. So when I was approached, I put a team together of some of the top entrepreneurs from Western Pennsylvania. Bob Shamming, who you'll see over on our booth, 212, 214, has run a number of manufacturing, engineering and technology companies. Steve Charnas, who couldn't be here today, actually runs a number of security companies and owns patents in that area. And we've taken the license from the University of Pittsburgh. So, going back to the first responders again. So here's the problem. 30,000 departments, 7 million incidents, 80,000 injuries, and over 200 die every year. What we found is it takes up to 20 minutes for 12 firefighters to find that man down. Unfortunately, most of the time it's a recovery mission. So if we can just save the life of one firefighter, that multiplies out into saving lives of many public individuals going forward, so we don't have to hire and train more firefighters. Fire departments are actively looking for a solution to this problem. DHS has what's called the Glancer project, but most of the things they're looking at so far, they're abandoning, like GPS, because they fundamentally don't work in the environments they have to use them in. We do have competition in this area. We've chosen just 2 out of probably a dozen companies. A GPS company has all the attendant problems of not being able to read indoor, only up to 12 foot, and when the satellite link goes out, you're out. We have an RFID company that's using RFID technology, which in itself is 45 years old. RFID used today is 45 years old, so they do a lot of algorithms to try and correct that. So, we are looking for $500,000 to get us from TRL5 to TRL7, a further $1.5 million in the next year to start the market and start building a distribution channel, and another $1 million going forward. We're on booth 212, 214 over in that corner. Please stop by and talk to us. We'd be happy to give you more info. Yes, sir.
Is the tag active or passive?
It can be either. It's a beta product right now, so we can engineer it whatever way you like. We would prefer passive, because it's the cheaper way to go. The real technology is in... I just got that side. Stop by and I'll tell you the answer to that.
Dan is also the CEO of Intelligent Safety Solutions, so he'll speak about a solar-powered wireless system for emergency evacuation.
Hello again. Sorry I didn't change the shirt so you could make sure I'm a different person. But yes, we're going to talk about SafetyNet this time, an emergency evacuation wireless mustering system. Okay, to give you some idea of what this is a solar-powered system that we own the patent to. It's to do with wireless mustering, which will be important as I move on, which accounts for all personnel and their whereabouts in the event of emergency evacuation. Now, why is this important? Well, if you think about today's traditional evacuation techniques, and everybody uses the same technology, what they say is, don't panic, don't use the elevators. Leave by the front entrance and go to the far end of the parking lot where someone with a clipboard will be able to count noses. So many problems with that. First is, the first responder, shown here by the little blue guy, has to find the clipboard man, the green guy, and find out who's out of the building. The universal answer to is everybody out is, we think so. If you say we think so to a firefighter, that means you don't know so, which means they have to go in and do a search and rescue. So let me ask you this. There's a bomb in that corner, it goes off. Does everybody here know where the mustering point is for this convention centre? More importantly, if a bomb went off across the road at Six Flags, does anybody know what you're meant to do? So, we have come up with the idea that's controlled, dynamic, flexible. We surround the facilities with these solar-powered readers, shown by the diamonds here. And now, when you run away, which is what most people do, you run past any one of these readers, and it will know where you are. This is providing information to an off-site data server, so the fire department can look at it on the way to the scene, immediately know who's in, who's out, and plan their search and rescue accordingly. So, who would want one of these? Well, OSHA tells us over 9 million operations in the States alone are big enough to have to do up to 4 fire drills a year. There's also 100,000 public schools and over 1,000 colleges and universities, and I'm not even talking about hotels, casinos, cruise ships, theme parks, etc., etc., etc. Here's what the technology looks like. The one on the left is the solar-powered static station that is off most of the time until it turns on in emergency. One on the right is the mobile unit that we use to augment it. This is very similar technology to the UPS guy reading your packages. In fact, it's identical to that, just dressed up a little bit. That's used for triage or shelter in place. So, here's the interesting thing. You might think, let's forget about saving lives for a second. What we found that using our technology, we can reduce fire drill by up to 75%. Now, to give an idea of that, if you're a facility with 1,000 people and you do 4 fire drills a year, you will be able to pay for our technology in just over a year. After that, this is a productivity tool, getting you back to work 45% earlier than you would have been, 75% earlier. It's very easy to use. And even though I said forget about saving lives, let's say we save lives too. We're highly cost effective when you consider that the normal settlement in a liability case where someone loses their life on your facility is $4 million here in the USA. We cost slightly less than that. Reduced insurance claims. We're talking to a number of insurance companies that are interested in viewing this a little bit like they viewed overhead sprinklers, a risk mitigation service. But what's more importantly maybe to this audience is it's commercially available and our pipeline is populated with some very seriously interested potential clients. So what are we looking for? Well, we're looking to licenses. You can private label. So anyone out there that wants to add it to their inventory, please let us know. You can co-market, add it to some of your solutions as an additional value-added solution. Or you can just refer us and we'll do the rest.